succeed in the NHL, each team needs a leader. After being named the first full-time captain in Wild history a season ago, Mikko Koivu has proven he is more than ready to be Minnesota's leading man. Tonight, Koivu and the Wild clash with the Canucks. Hockey night in St. Paul. Fans anticipate another classic battle between the Wild and the Vancouver Canucks. Crestone is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Minnesota Wild Hockey on Fox Sports North. Hi everybody, I'm Dave Terhar along with Mike Greenlay. Welcome to XL Energy Center in St. Paul for this Northwest Division battle. And Mike, inside XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Eric Nystrom looks ready to go. The Wild and the Canucks, many think this is the #1 rival for the Minnesota Wild, and they play like it usually.
Certainly a good test for the Wild to see how they respond to the last 2 days of practice.
Cullen and Malhotra, the puck is down, dumped into the Minnesota zone. Wild in red, Canucks in white. Burns smacks it along the dasher. That'll come out to center.
Well, Stoner and Gillies scratched. You remember Colton Gillies was called up in case some of those illnesses to the Wild came to bear, but they didn't. Full lineup for the Wild.
Bouncing puck in front, hops over the stick out in the slot area of Samuelsson. That allows Havlat some room. Marty Havlat will go in, banging along the way with Christian Ehrhoff. Latendresse has it in his skates. He gets bumped down, knocked off the puck by Raffi Torres. And now long shot driven in off of Zidlicky. As they battle the wall, Mason Raymond has it. Henrik Sedin on the side. Daniel Sedin couldn't come up with it. Edler from the point. That shot is blocked. It broke the stick of Latendresse. Empty net for Daniel Sedin. He scores. Wide open cage.
This might be the prime example of what Vancouver's so good at. They work the weak side of the ice so very well, and you'll see them always floating a guy in on the back door, and when they don't have a play, often it just goes to the weak side. Watch this shot. It gets deflected in the corner, but look at that. There's not even a look by Henrik Sedin because he knows that when the puck's on one side, they always have support on the weak side. And in this case, it happens to be his twin brother, Daniel, and that was a very easy tap-in goal for Daniel Sedin from Henrik. And the Wild are down 1-0 very early in this game, and that's what the Wild are going to have to continue to watch.
5th of the season for Daniel Sedin. He leads the Canucks in that department, scoring goals. Hansen off the boards. That's picked off on the right wing side. Here's Nystrom across the line. Fires a rising slap shot. Luongo hangs on to it. Face-off coming up in the Vancouver zone. Let's take a look at the starting goalies, brought to you by Ford.
Well, Roberto Luongo traditionally has not fared well against the Wild, but hey, he's the highest paid player in the National Hockey League. He could come up with some pretty good games. And down at the other end, Nicholas Backstrom, who just got victimized by a backdoor play, one where he had to challenge the shooter, which in this case was Henrik Sedin, last year's Art Ross Trophy winner. So yeah, you pay attention to him, but he just went weak side to his brother, and there was no chance for Nicholas Backstrom on that one.
Samuelsson battling with Sandin in the corner. Zidlicky makes a nice move behind the goal and buys himself some space. Ahead to Miettinen, he'll dump it in. On goal, gloved by Luongo, he'll hang on again. Another face-off coming up in the Vancouver end. Here's a look at some of the things we have in store for you tonight. We'll show you what makes the Wild's top-ranked power play tick. Plus, we'll get a unique perspective on the game when legendary referee Kerry Fraser joins us in the booth for the second period. And we'll check in on Minnesota's 2010 first-round pick, Michael Granlund, who put on a show for the Wild on their visit to Finland. Nice from forechecking. Clutterbuck with a big hit on Kessler. Nystrom bangs him off the wall as well. Wild trying to show some physical presence with this line. Clutterbuck, Nystrom, and Madden.
It's going to cost them a minor penalty here, Dan. Interference is going to be the call. It might have been a late hit. It's good to see the Wild get physical here and try and turn the tables, but that physical play might...
Minnesota penalty number 22, 2 minutes interference.
Might cost them another goal against here. Todd Richards does not want to see that. Here's Eric Nystrom. Nice physical play. That's what the Wild want to see, and boy, did he ever lay Kessler out. But this one right here, Clutterbuck. Steps right up. The puck, I guess, wasn't close enough to Kessler.
So the Wild down by a goal early, a 58-second mark goal for the Canucks, and the Wild will have to now kill off a Vancouver power play as it's cleared all the way down the ice by Brent Burns. The power play for the Canucks coming into the game, 5 of 18 at 27.8%. That's amongst the top teams in the National Hockey League so far. Madden on the forecheck, he goes to the bench. Puck led ahead at center ice and across the line now. Samuelsson works it around Nystrom. Samuelsson to the left side. Here's Bieksa. Back for Michael Samuelsson. Kevin Bieksa. Mason Raymond in the high slot. Samuelsson. Bieksa fires off the glove of Backstrom to the corner. Ehrhoff to the point. Samuelsson, good job keeping it in. Rotates it left. Bieksa sends it all the way around to the near side. Christian Ehrhoff is there. Raymond to the right point. Samuelsson. Samuelsson goes left side. Bieksa off his stick. Pressured by Nystrom. Comes to Zanin. Zanin tried to knock it all the way around. Didn't get all of it, but it was enough to get it by Christian Ehrhoff and back down the ice. 25 seconds remaining in Clutterbuck's penalty time.
Canucks are very adept at using their point men on the power play. They do like to work the puck down low, but they do that just to drag everyone down low with them. They use the point men very effectively.
Daniel Sedin with a shot, soft shot on goal. Stick saved by Backstrom. Puck is cleared and out. Poked free by Brodziak. Brodziak had it stripped away by Henrik Sedin. Held up at the line. Henrik Sedin bumped by Antti Mietinen. Here's a pass now to Clutterbuck out of the box. Clutterbuck with an angle and he fires on goal. Pad saved by Luongo. One shot on goal in that power play for Vancouver. And Clutterbuck got that one back right away out of the box and put it on the pads of Roberto Luongo. Barker behind. Plays it out of the zone. Edler steps up and knocks it back into the Minnesota end. 2 shots each here in the early going. Cam Barker to Justin Falk to the right side. Here's Havlat across the line with a wrister. Changed direction in front, went just wide.
Yeah, that caught the side of the net, and that's where that line can be very effective. They have a lot of speed, La Tendresse, a lot of size, and they can carry that puck and push back the defense.
Here's Havlat again, sending it in deep. Ehrhoff flips it ahead on the right side to Rippon. Rippon lost it. Brodziak centered, it pops up in the air. Tanner Glass starts it back. DeBean sends it back in. Vancouver changing on the fly. That means there's some space out there. Taking advantage of that, and across the line is Brodziak. Couldn't get the shot off. Back to Brodziak. Dumps it towards the goal. Penalty coming up on the Canucks.
Well, let's take a look at our Light the Lamp segment where we pick a player. And take a look at Matt Cullen, taken by Robbie Inzmakowski. Dan Terhar went with Koivu. That line gets finished up by myself and Anthony LaPanta. And Kevin Gorg went with the other top line player, Andrew Burnett. The fans went with the goaltender, Nicholas Backstrom. So Backstrom's going to have to hold them the rest of the way to get a point for goals against, although he does get a point for every 12 saves.
Anytime I can get Mikko Koivu with the second pick, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I, of course, am trying to build off of some magic, hopefully that La Tendresse can bring in playing on that line with Cullen and Havlat. You look at the power play this year, it's been very good so far in the 4 games, and they need to find that magic here, and Cullen on the point really helps them a lot. So hopefully they work some puck and work some magic.
Well, tipped in front by Mietin, and it was on goal. Luongo made the save. There's Zhelitsky. Mietin into the right side, into the skates. Tough handle there for Cullen. Flips up in the air. Wild trying to control. Burnett. Here's Zhelitsky. Here's Mietin. Mietin lost the puck for a moment. Gathers it up. Mietin for Zhelitsky. Here's Cullen now on the right side. First power play of the game for the Wild. Zhelitsky fires. He scores! What a blast!
Power play, goal number 9 on the season for the Minnesota Wild. And look at Cullen's feet. Never stops moving. Koivu, Brunette, Mietin, all their feet always moving. Zhelitsky gets the puck and he just lasers one. Look at this shot. Oh my goodness, that had the thread needles on the way to the net. It went by Alberts and Brunette. Didn't touch either one of them. And Zhelitsky gets the goal for the Minnesota Wild, tying this game up. And if you're not scoring 5-on-5, you better be doing it with the power play, and the Wild answered.
First goal of the season for Zhelitsky. And what a bomb. There's one tipped in on goal by Madden, covered up by Luongo. A power play goal evens things up here early in the game in St. Paul.
Welcome back to downtown St. Paul. A good one so far. The Canucks and Wild deadlocked at 1. It is time to take a look at our EA Sports NHL 11 Spotlight. Last year, John Madden was hoisting his 3rd Stanley Cup in Chicago. But did you know Madden was actually undrafted out of the University of Michigan? The former Wolverine has developed into a great two-way forward, and he's a nose for the net. In shorthanded situations, the Wild will look for this guy's leadership on and off the ice, providing more depth up front, Dan and Mike, and that's a good thing because the new guys are making plays. Cullen had another assist on that first power play goal by Zhelitsky.
Yeah, Cullen's league-leading 6th power play point. So Matt Cullen has paid dividends immediately, especially with the man advantage.
Mietin got the other assist on the goal by Zhelitsky, and we're at 1-1 early in the game. Raymond overskates it. Managed to stay onside. Edler tried to center, intercepted out high in the slot. Flipped ahead to the left wing wall. Schultz got a piece of it. Now Brunette in after it. Can't come up with the puck. Koivu steals at center. Battling with Mason Raymond. Koivu kicks it to his stick and fires it in deep. Luongo stops it behind the cage. Well, the Wild have fired 6 shots on goal already here in the first 7 minutes, and that's a big improvement over Saturday night's first period, where they only managed 2 shots the entire 20 minutes. Havlat to the line. Latendresse slamming on the brakes. Here's Falk. Shot up high and wide. Rebound. Latendresse. He scores! Guillaume Latendresse.
Well, we've seen the magic between these two before. A drop pass, but a good bounce. And Latendresse, who knows how to get to the net. And that's his biggest strength, is he's tough to slow down, but he gets to the net, gets to the puck first, and he just puts it on net. And Latendresse, he wants to play well because he wants to stay on that second line with Cullen and Havlat. He thinks that they can do some magic, and I believe they can as well. Todd Richards penciled these guys in a long time ago together, and it's finally starting to see them penned in, and I hope they stick together.
Second goal of the season for 23-year-old Guillaume Latendresse, and the Wild have their first lead of the game. Penalty coming up on the Wild. Loose puck in front. It's touched out in the high slot by Nystrom, and the penalty is called.
Another interference call coming up here, and the Wild now have a couple. This one's going to Greg Zanin.
So number 5, 2-minute interference.
And the Canucks will make you take penalties on them because they have a lot of speed. And I think it was just when the puck got into the corner. See if we see it right there. Puck's been chipped in already. And so when you slow up a player, even if it's on a minor basis, you're going to get the penalty. You cannot step in front of a player who's driving into the zone, especially when the puck is not with him. And so Zanin will give the Canucks a power play.
Their second. They just had one shot on goal in their first power play. Henrik Sedin working the corner, works it back out on top. They'll work it to Daniel Sedin on the near boards. Down low, Henrik centers it right through, trying to hook up with the back door. That was deflected away. Kessler couldn't get his stick on it. Henrik Sedin to Ehrhoff, shot side of the net.
Some
It went wide.
tendencies by Canucks. Just throw it out front. They aren't afraid to get that puck out to the front of the net. They do it quite a bit.
The Sedin twins broken up by Nick Schultz. Around behind to Daniel Sedin, halfway through the penalty time here on Zanin. This will go to the point. It'll get by Alexander Edler and down the ice, and the Wild will get 4 fresh penalty killers on the ice. Cullen and Madden up front. Zhidlitsky and Barker back on defense. Here comes Edler out of his own end. Ahead to Samuelsson, in, Backstrom, stops, leaves it. Zhidlitsky can't get it out. Bieksa keeps it in. Mason Raymond has it. Pressured there and pressured right out of the zone.
Great job by Zhidlitsky. He couldn't get the puck, so he worked on the player, and Raymond just couldn't get a handle on it.
There's Madden battling for the puck. Madden will steal. Here's John Madden on the right side. He shoots. Oh, he hit the pipe. He rang it off the pipe. Oh, what a shot.
Well, Madden was a Selke Trophy winner, and he's a great defensive forward. And watch this. It's why you'll see him killing penalties, and that was very close to being 3-1. Boy, did he unleash on this one. Oh, crossbar.
You know, Kevin Gordon mentioned he was undrafted out of Michigan. He's approaching 800 career games. Not bad.
A lot of that had to do with his size, but his size doesn't affect his tenacity, and he did a great job at working the puck down the wall. He had Matt Cullen with him. He had the option. Judging by the shot he put on net, it wasn't a bad one to take a shot. You know.
Penalty time has expired on Zanin. No shots on goal for the Canucks in that power play. This puck is tipped out front. Nobody in a red sweater home. Samuelsson back the other way across the line. Kessler fires a shot. It was low to the near side, and Backstrom made the pad save.
Good job by Justin Falk. He could have driven right over to that player, but instead he realized it was a semi 2-on-1, so he let the shot come from the far side, and that's something Backstrom can handle.
By Kobasu to Brodziak. Brodziak ahead, too far for Chuck Kobasu. Well, Todd Richards said this morning that to decide whether or not the bag skate on Sunday to work these guys into a pitch was going to work, he said, we'll find out tonight. I would say so far pretty good as Brodziak fires one on goal, and then Kobasu takes a little poke at Luongo.
Oh, here we go.
Staubitz delivers.
Rippon and Staubitz have fought before in junior, so they're not strangers.
I think they went last year when Staubitz was a Shark.
Oh, there we go.
There. Now we got that out of our system. We'll be right back. Wild leading Vancouver 2-1 midway through the first period here in St. Paul. Let's go to our Car Soup email question. It comes from Jake Stewart from Bloomington. Jake wants to know, do you guys think Theodore will get a chance to play on the upcoming road trip? And there's a look at Jose Theodore.
Yeah, and the answer to that question is yes, according to Todd Richards this morning. He will get one of the games either in Edmonton or Vancouver. And keep in mind, Theodore is a 30-game winner the last 2 seasons when he was with Washington, so he certainly has the abilities. A good pickup for the Minnesota Wild after losing Josh Harding.
Both Staubitz and Rippon get 5 for fighting. Rippon's in the penalty box. Staubitz was bloodied in that little confrontation, so he went down to the locker room to get that patched up, and then at some point I would expect he'll head to the penalty box. 5-on-5, Wild controlling the puck in the offensive zone. Zanin sends it to the corner, cut back behind by Latendresse, leaves it there. Now working the wall is Havlat, and he ran out of room. Zidlicky turning, sending it ahead out of the reach of Marty Havlat, and that'll be icing. We'll go back to the other end, but good sustained time in the offensive zone for the Wild.
Todd Richard just leaving lines together out there for the most part on the power play. And he's letting these guys work together, although Cullen heading off now for a breather. Cullen's playing in so many different circumstances, be it power play and 5-on-5, that every once in a while he needs more of a breather.
He had all summer to breathe. Tied up along the boards. Latendresse trying to get it out. Zanin flips it ahead. Bouncing puck. Madden wins that battle. Shoves it off on the right side. Long snapshot on goal. Madden on the rebound. Tried to center. That was knocked away. And Clutterbuck making things happen. And you talked about getting Latendresse on that line with Cullen and Havlat. How about putting Clutterbuck with Nystrom and Madden? That's kind of getting me going.
I like it. I mean, you want to see chemistry. You don't always just put three energy guys together and have it work. And
well, you hope it will.
You hope it will, but sometimes it doesn't. And I think in this case, it's looking like it might.
On the Guillaume Latendresse a few minutes ago on his goal to make it 2-1, the assist went to Havlat, his 4th assist of the season, and Justin Falk got his very first assist. Good payoff for the big 6'5" kid who's been playing very well for this team. Getting point number 1 on the second Wild goal. Held in at the point. Long wrist shot goes well wide of the goal. As Aaron Rome couldn't find the net. Bouncing puck comes loose to Falk. Falk long pass ahead. Knocked down on the left wing side by Miettinen. Poke checked off Miettinen's stick. It goes out of play. And a stop in the action as you look at big Justin Falk.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to take a guy out of the lineup when he comes into training camp, makes the squad, and forces you to keep playing him. And he does that by just playing good, solid hockey. Todd Richards says he's pleased with his foot speed. For a big guy, that's usually the first thing they look at, especially if you're a defenseman. Justin Falk is fitting the bill there and also getting involved in the play.
And he said that guy right there, new assistant coach Rick Wilson, was really working closely with Justin Falk to help him be ready for this, and he seems to be ready.
Can you have a better mentor? I mean, you know what? Sometimes you catch a break when you're a young guy, whether it's the minors, the National Hockey League, even if you're in college hockey, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you catch a break with good coaches or good guys in your lineup, good leaders. And in this case, I'm sure Justin Falk caught a good break having Rick Wilson come to the team this year.
Bieksa goes D to D. Dumped ahead into the Minnesota zone. Brodziak. Now to Kovacic. Kovacic lost it in his skates, spins, stays on the puck, goes back, had it for a moment. Now Zidlicky picks it up. Kovacic fighting the puck a little bit out in the neutral zone, but the Wild drive it in deep. Knocked down the right side, centered in front. Havlat kicked it, but couldn't convert. Then dumped in front by Kovacic.
That almost found a home behind Luongo, who on a couple of occasions is getting victimized from really weird, sharp angles. The Latendresse goal did go in from that angle, and Kovacic almost shuttled one in behind him as well.
You know, Todd Richards said he was real happy with the way the team reacted to getting down to a couple of goals to Edmonton. I think you'd feel the same tonight after giving up an early goal here to the Canucks and the way they battled back to take a 2-1 lead. Brunette takes a solid hit on the back wall but hangs onto the puck. That was Andrew Alberts who pushed him into the glass. Now Kessler goes to center. Left side, here's Hansen. Pulls up, centers. Kessler had it slide off his stick. Here's a long pass to center intended for Brunette, but it's picked off by Jannik Hansen. But Brunette was gassed and ready to go to the bench anyway. There's a slap shot right into the crest of the jersey on Nicholas Backstrom. He gobbles that one up. Wild lead 2-1. First period from St. Paul. 2-1 the Wild lead the Canucks here late in the first period. What do those two guys have in common? Well, not a lot on the ice, but I'll tell you what they do have in common. Fans can help raise money for cancer research by bidding on Wild and NHL jerseys. Proceeds benefit Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation. Tonight's jerseys, Cal Clutterbuck, Henrik Sedin. You log on to foxsports.com, foxsportsnorth.com, that is, and place your bid. The bid is tax deductible. Get those bids in and help find a cure for cancer. Bidding ends tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Other great jerseys throughout the month. Here's Nystrom sending it to the corner.
They're authentic. We check. Those signatures
jerseys
are
yes.
authentic.
Oh yeah, this great chance to get a pretty cool piece of memorabilia. That one's tipped by Henrik Sedin around Brent Burns. Schultz battling his way to the corner. Clutterbuck comes in to help out. Stripped out of the corner by Mason Raymond to the point. Edler's shot blocked in front by either or both of Schultz and Daniel Sedin. Henrik Sedin saucers one in the middle. It's all the way through to the right side. Aaron Rome. Nystrom finishes him off. Henrik Sedin behind. Centers out high. Mason Raymond pushes it to the right wing side. Boy, the Sedin twins get out there and they're skating with Mason Raymond. They control the puck. Quick shot by Daniel Sedin. Great stop by Backstrom.
And the reason why is the quick puck movement. They don't hold on to the puck long enough where you can line them up and hit them or even check them. The quick puck movement, it makes it difficult to really set yourself. And that's why they just got a point-blank shot. Backstrom was very solid on that one.
Off the corner boards. Cullen trying to dig it free. There's a shot knocked away. Rebound, and Torres couldn't get the shot off. Jedlicki on him. Pitches him off, kicks it free, can't get it out across the line. Malhotra sends it down. Samuelsson after it, and a penalty coming up on the Wild.
Well, I was going to say, it's the Wild either have to stop running around or there's going to be a penalty, and it may not have actually gone to the Wild.
Oh, actually, it's the other way.
An offensive zone penalty, especially a stick infraction. So Samuelsson does a no-no.
Vancouver penalty number 26, 2-minute minor cross-check.
It's one thing to get a penalty for a stick infraction, holding, hooking, or anything like that in your own zone. You can always argue that I was just battling, but when you're in the offensive zone, granted you're battling, but it's usually frowned upon by coaches.
Yeah, you know, if you can eliminate the offensive zone penalties, then you're not too worried about the rest of them usually. But it'll give the Wild a second power play in this game. They're 1 for 1 on the power play. Marek Jedlicki got the power play goal, the first Wild goal of the game.
In front of the net here is where we're going to see the penalty. We'll see. Must have cross-checked him down in the kidneys and made him lose his balance.
Probably could have been cross-check or interference, perhaps, but either way, it gives the Wild another man advantage. Their top power play in the National Hockey League. We'll see if they can do it again. Burns off the boards. Koivu tried to get it back to Burns. Good play to intercept that pass out near the point by Schaefer. And Wild will have to go the length of the ice.
Schaefer didn't even play last year. He was bought out by Boston, spent the year working out. And he came in here and actually made the team. The cap also helped him.
Here's Burns with a shot through some stick work. Luongo able to find it. You saw Miettinen and Burnett both there trying to tip it.
Well, that's prime feeding ground for Brent Burns. I mean, if you can get Burns the puck at the top of the zone in the middle, and he's got some bodies in front, a good hard shot can really cause trouble. But unfortunately, it was a quick snapshot there. Didn't have a lot of meat on it. Luongo handled it easily.
Wild again controlling and winning the offensive zone faceoff. Havlat tried to get it back to Jedlicki, couldn't quite get it through traffic. Dumped in front, up in the air. It's gloved and caught by Backstrom.
Well, a couple of sloppy shifts here by the Wild. They don't want to give back what they've worked so hard for in this period. So puck control has been their friend so far in this period. And when you can do it against the Vancouver Canucks, then you're doing a good job, because the Canucks like so many good hockey teams, love to possess the puck.
Well, Todd Richards gave his team an F for their effort against Columbus Saturday. Big part of that was the first period, in which they only had one shot on goal through the first 18 minutes. I don't know what the grade will be tonight for this first period, but I think it'll be better than an F. Here's Latendresse. He has a goal. Cleared around to the near side. This one's pushed around Cam Barker. Here's Mason Raymond across the line. Overskates the puck. Gets tripped up. Lost the puck. Latendresse will start it back to Havlat. Back to Guillaume. Back to Havlat. Havlat to Latendresse. Center shot. Score! Fed perfectly out front to Clutterbuck, who finishes. Whoa.
People are probably saying, what were we waiting for? Why is Latendresse and Havlat not together right from the start? The answer to that question is Latendresse had to get himself back up into game shape with leg injuries this training camp. But look at him now. The give and the go and the give and the go, and then it went. Clutterbuck following up, gets his second of the season. And that is a very interesting line combo. Those three guys connect very nicely. And the Wild, 3-goal period here against a premier goaltender in the National Hockey League. A good start here for the Minnesota Wild.
Latendresse and Havlat get the assists on the goal by Cal Clutterbuck. And I tell you what, Mike, that is a Cal Clutterbuck type of goal. Just go to the net.
All the attention to Havlat, Latendresse passing the puck, playing pitch and catch all the way down the left side. And Clutterbuck just kind of floated into the top of the crease and batted one home.
He had a second period goal on Saturday night against the Columbus Blue Jackets, as this one is going to be hung on to by Backstrom with 1:04 remaining in the first period.
Well, Luongo does not like the X. He does not like the XL Energy Center. Look at his numbers. And they actually talked about whether he was going to play here because they have Chicago tomorrow.
We'll stop out of the neutral zone.
So Luongo has been victimized. I wouldn't say that all three were his alone to handle. Some good plays by the Wild got them up in those goals.
Good battle going on down low. Big Justin Falk got the best of that one. Now Koivu to Miettinen, back to Mikko Koivu. Looked like he might have had a step, bails out, tries to drop it across on the far side. Cleared to center. Justin Falk will send it right back in deep. Half a minute to go in the period. Now they're going to say this is icing, as Falk was just on the far side of the center red line. Well, as the search begins for Tim Brewster's replacement, we talked one-on-one with U's athletic director Joel Maturi. Check it out now on foxsportsnorth.com. Wild trying to close out a pretty good first period. Loose puck grabbed and covered by Backstrom.
Well, we've talked about it before. 60-minute hockey is where the Wild need to be. And they've certainly started with the first 20 looking very good. And regardless of whether they put the puck in the net or not, the effort is certainly there. Some smart playmaking and some good defensive zone coverage.
And a rare appearance by a 5-on-5 goal.
Yeah, they'll take as many of those as they can get.
A couple of power play goals here in the first period. The Wild 2 for 2 on the power play. This puck will go slowly down to the other end. And that's where it'll end up at the end of this first period of play. And the fans here at XL Energy Center very happy with the boys in red, leading 3-1 after one. Little fisticuffs, some power play goals. Robbie Inchbakowski and big defender Justin Falk will be up next, and all of our halftime and intermission features.
Is that all right? You got that handled?
Well, listen, that's a linesman's job, and you guys are too big.
Got pretty good reach over here. So Carey's going to stay with us here in the second period, and if there are any controversial calls, we're going to bring you right into action. You're going to help us through it. So.
Well, I've been there before.
I know you have. I know you have. Puck is down. Koivu wins the draw to start the period, and the Wild will try to pick up where they left off after the first 20 minutes with a 3-1 lead. Mason Raymond centers in front, and there was a good chance right off the bat, but Daniel Sedin couldn't get the stick on it. Sedin had 4 of the 7 shots on goal in the first period for Vancouver. Tied up along the wall. Edler is there. Koivu is there. Daniel Sedin. Miettinen jumps in. Miettinen got tangled up.
He's got a stick through the blade of his skate, so that's just going to be whistled down. Carey, welcome to the booth. Obviously, you're talking a lot about your new book, and I guess first of all, tell us, what gave you the idea to kind of piece everything together? Was it just basically you needed to tell the story from a referee's perspective?
Well, quite honestly, I really like people. As much as some of them hate me, I like them. And I would always talk to people, out in restaurants and bars after the game, and they never really got the true perspective of what an official did. So I wanted to share it.
Well, don't say anything bad. We don't like to talk bad about referees up here.
Be yourself.
Yes. The pad save by Backstrom on a quick shot. Malhotra tripped up a little bit, lost the puck. Havlat starts it back for Cullen. Cullen right back to Marty Havlat to the goal, and through a screen by Cullen, it goes just wide. Latendresse lost his stick, and here come the Canucks back the other way. Turned back was Raffi Torres, the former Blue Jacket turned Buffalo Sabre at the end of last season, and now a free agent signee with the Vancouver Canucks. Wild finishing off a change here. Tipped ahead in, just wide of the goal. Backstrom to Falk. Ahead to Nystrom on the wing. Hopped over the stick there of Clutterbuck, and he was in offside, and a stop at the Vancouver blue line.
Well, Carey, what's one of the toughest things about being a referee? I mean, obviously there's the rule book and there's all that kind of stuff, but there's so many things, so many nuances.
Well, I think the travel is probably the most difficult thing to contend with. But, you love the game, and the game is everything.
At what point did you decide to put it into a book?
Well, it was sort of a mission that I had. I always kept a diary and wanted to share the stories over a 30-year great career.
A little pressure at the side of the goal, and Kessler tried to ram it home, couldn't. Now a shot wide of the goal. Sharp angle shot comes back out front, and there are no white Vancouver sweaters in front. And trying to clear was Cam Barker, and he put it the one place it wouldn't go out, and that was off of Clutterbuck, who had lost his stick. And an icing call here. Let's go to a Toyota text question. Jennifer from Woodbury wants to know, Carey, who were the toughest fans for you to work in front of as a referee?
Well, I think Quebec City. I made a call that Michel Bergeron didn't agree with in 1987, and from that point on, it was a battle royale in Quebec City, in La Belle Province.
They don't forget very easily.
Oh my gosh, they've got a memory like an elephant. Of course, Toronto, Toronto's another situation. I made a little faux pas in the '93 Stanley Cup semifinals, and Gretzky was clipped Gilmore with a high stick, and I missed that one. They haven't forgotten.
It's amazing what fans remember, huh?
When you mentioned that you kept a diary, I'm sure there are some edited portions of that diary too.
It's almost the whole truth.
It's your diary and your book. I suppose you can write whatever you want, right?
That's true.
Puck flipped ahead out of the Minnesota zone. Vancouver has come out, Mike, to start this period with a little jump in their steps, and that probably should have been expected.
Yeah, I think the Wild were definitely aware that was going to happen, and I think they're matching it pretty well here. They haven't given up any glaring opportunities. Carey, when you're in the game for 30 years, in whatever capacity, you obviously get to notice the changes that go along with it. What were some of the things that you noticed being down there on the ice with these guys that changed so much over the last 30 years?
Well, certainly the speed was, you know, when we got rid of the obstruction and the trapping and the clutch and grab, the speed through the neutral zone has really made a wonderful difference to the game. It's very exciting for the fans. It allows the players that are so skilled to do what they do best.
Miettinen goes to take the draw for Koivu. Wrapped all the way around. Schultz fanned on it. Almost sounded like he broke his stick. Here comes Mason Raymond cutting across the middle. And that puck bouncing all the way through the high slot area. Burns gloves it, grabs it. Burns in traffic, lost the handle. Turning is Raymond with a shot blocked. Rebound is fired, and that is blocked in front. And Schultz will start it out. Leads it ahead on the right side to Mikko Koivu. Koivu stopped at the line. Has to drop the puck back for Brent Burns. Burns will go D to D to Zanin, who comes back to pick it up. Zanin now to Koivu. Koivu will wrist it into the zone. Took a hit from Glass behind the play. Broken up in the high slot. Here's a shot right on by Kovacic. Swatted out of midair and cleared to the boards by Ehrhoff.
I think all the players are going to be running around trying to get sick like Kovacic was today. He's had 2 glorious chances in this hockey game.
Little bug running through the locker room for the Wild, but everybody able to play tonight. Colton Gillies was called up as a possible fill-in, and everybody must have taken it easy today, gotten their rest, and everybody's on the ice as expected. Rippon flips it ahead into the Minnesota zone. Here's Zanin. 30-year-old Greg Zanin takes the hit, bounces it ahead. Havlat couldn't get that bouncing puck to lay down. Now here comes Ehrhoff firing a quick shot, steered to the corner by Backstrom. Ehrhoff got it, sent it back to the corner, centered, a one-timer fanned on. Torres leaves it at the point, tipped in front, and it didn't get through to Backstrom. Knocked down right in front of Nicholas Backstrom. Backhanded out of the Minnesota zone by Havlat. Havlat's got a couple assists in this game tonight. Long pass at center, over the stick. Now bounces around, got past Madden, pushed ahead at center by Christian Ehrhoff, who took a bump from Justin Falk. And the Wild will try to clear the zone, but Aaron Rome swats it right back in. Madden knocked it down. Madden off the glass, held it at the right point. Shot blocked by Cam Barker. Good end-to-end action here in the early minutes of our second period. Loose puck back to the point. Long-range shot, gloved and hung on to by Backstrom. That'll slow things down a little bit.
Gary, how do you guys manage the fitness level? Obviously, you said the game got faster. Therefore, referees had to be in better condition and faster. Do you guys have a training camp, or do you just handle it on your own?
Well, no, there's a training camp, but Dave Smith was hired, when he left Florida after being with the Rangers, and he's the fitness consultant, and it's a year-round job now, as you know, Mike. You just don't show up at camp and get in shape.
Well, broadcasters do. So you might have to start.
I'm looking for a job.
Summer camp is a lot of fun for broadcasters.
Until HD came along.
Pushed back behind the goal by Jannik Hansen. Turnover back at the point. Schultz with a drive, didn't miss the mark by much. Burns tried to one-time it to the goal. Held in down low by Nystrom. Here's Clutterbuck. Tossed it off a leg in front. And that's a big stop by Luongo, because that turned right in front of him.
No, Kerry, you got to referee around a wonderful time of transition for the NHL, but also around some magnificent players. I guess the top players were always easy to deal with.
Not always. I mean, in the book, I talk about my initial encounters with Wayne Gretzky. As great a player as he was, and as great a guy in the relationship we developed, we had some moments in the early going.
I suppose you got to build a relationship with the players too, and down the road they remember, you remember, and I'm sure it smooths things out, right?
In any business, you have to develop relationships.
Well, Gretzky calls that your training in period.
That's right. He broke me in.
Held in by Zanin at the right point. Through to the corner, Miettinen cutting it out of the corner, looking down low behind Koivu. It slides out in front, but Burnett couldn't get there in time, and here come the Canucks back the other way. Through center, it's dumped in. Zhidlichki up the wall to Miettinen. Antti Miettinen takes his time. Now Bieksa had to slow him down just enough. Picked off by Koivu in the high slot. Mikko waiting for help to arrive. Now sends it all the way around. Here's Havlat. Latendresse in front. Koivu stuck on the ice now. Cullen will replace him shortly. Latendresse using his body to free the puck up. Flipped ahead now out to center. Daniel Sedin. Good play defensively by the kid Justin Falk, who got his first NHL point here tonight. That hits the netting behind Backstrom. Will step away for just a moment.
It was a sad day in NHL history when referees were forced to wear helmets, wasn't it?
Oh, I cried for about a week.
They don't realize that with all the Aquanet you had on your hair, that it wasn't going to hurt you anyway, right?
Oh, Paul Mitchell went out of business.
I was going to ask you, were you ever tempted to get your own hair care product line? I mean, it certainly could be a good advertising tool.
Well, I thought it would be a great idea.
There's Cullen breaking in, tried to center for Latendresse, couldn't complete the job, but high praise from 37-year-old Andrew Brunette, who grew up watching you and then got to be on the ice with you.
Boy, I'll tell you, when a 37-year-old says he grew up watching you.
Well, yeah. Havlat got that one through, but it was steered aside, and Wild still finding a way to get a few pucks through to Roberto Luongo as this is dumped in, and wholesale change by the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver is clamped down a bit. Oh, bursting through. Here's Madden with a shot. He scores! Nice shot.
Well, the Wild have done a good job in this game, at least getting the puck to their forwards. Brent Burns gets it right up to Madden. And Carey, I mean, you're not just a referee or a former referee. You're a hockey fan and you played the game. You got to love this speed right now.
Well, that first period was really impressive, and the Wild have picked up where they left off with puck movement. And that lead pass to Johnny Madden, I mean, he's the veteran, he's a pro. I said to him last year when I saw him in my final game in Chicago, I said, John, you're as good as you ever were. He's an amazing player.
Well, he's got a big fat ring to prove that too now, and he was presented with it just last week here at the XL Energy Center, and he rang one off the crossbar in the first period, and he gets rewarded here with a nice feed up the middle.
First goal of the season, first goal in a Wild sweater for John Madden. And the Wild open up a 3-goal lead nearing the midpoint of the game. Backstrom will play this one towards Nick Schultz. He gets pressured there by Schaefer. Hansen is there. A little help down low by Brodziak. Clutterbuck couldn't clear the zone. Comes free now to Burns. And Burns headmans a pass too far for Nystrom, and it goes all the way down. This will be icing. And Carey, I got to ask you, one of the most colorful hockey characters in Minnesota is a gentleman named Glenn Sonmore. And I got to believe you've crossed paths with him more than once.
My very first game in the NHL was 1980, and it was the Minnesota North Stars playing in Colorado against the Rockies. And Glenn was yelling at me from that point all the way through until I found out he only had one eye and couldn't find the puck.
Never run out of stories with Glenn Sonmore. This puck knocked over the glass and out of play.
Dan, we played golf together in Hawaii on vacation. I ran into Charlie Simmer and Glenn Sonmore, and Ron Fournier was with me, and so we played a game of golf, and I rode in the cart with Sonmore, and every time he hit the ball, he'd say, Carey, did you see it? Where did it go? And I said, you're always complaining I can't see, and you can't even find your ball. He's a great guy.
Oh, he's one of a kind.
I'm sure you've run into all kinds of colorful characters in the National Hockey League.
Our game has the market cornered.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's right.
Well, penalty here. Nystrom is in the box for launching that puck out of play from his own zone. And
Carey, how many of these linesmen referees have played the game of hockey, obviously they have to understand it from various levels.
Well, Donnie Henderson played junior in the Western League.
I played bantam hockey against him.
He's a character.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Now his brother Archie, who was with Washington, I saw him as a rookie.
I'm sure most of them got some form or some level of hockey under their belts.
Boy, Miettinen doing a great job forechecking here, shorthanded. He's up front with Mikko Koivu killing the penalty, and crazy bounce.
Kerry, did that hurt? Because that did hit the referee.
I felt a little pain in my back, yes.
a little sympathy pain there. Huh?
Yeah, Chris Lee took that one.
You guys, people don't probably realize you guys do wear padding under there, but not obviously as extensive as a player.
Well, I seemed, as I put on a little weight towards the end, I just didn't
That's
see.
not what he meant, Kerry.
That's not the padding he's talking about. Ah, now I get it.
Cullen had to get out of the way of that one as the Wild clear again, and we're halfway through the second period, and Wild have a 4-1 lead. Vancouver has upped their play considerably since the first period, but the Wild doing a good job of fending them off and have one of their own by that guy right there, number 11, John Madden. Won the Cup last year in Chicago and has his first goal as a member of the Minnesota Wild. Burns and Schultz credited with the assists on that goal by Madden. First point of the season for Nick Schultz. There's a rebound, shot wide. That backhander got away.
Again, that weak side, Vancouver's so good at exposing it. And again, that puck sitting right there for someone to put in.
Burns battling in front with Torres. Centering pass right up the middle. Hansen with a shot, never got through. Left side, Samuelson tried to center. Broken up in front by Brodziak. Held in, wrist shot towards the goal. Bounced off traffic. Here's another chance. Hansen down low. Here comes Nystrom out of the box. Just one shot on goal on the power play. Another shot and the save made by Backstrom. And the Wild are back at full strength. And the fans here in St. Paul appreciating the penalty-killing effort by their Wild.
Lots of sacrifice there. There are 3 different Wild players block a shot in that sequence, and that was very important because, as I said, Vancouver just moves the puck from one side of the ice to the other so well.
Little saucer pass ahead. Malhotra running into Cullen. Cullen giving him problems. Now he gets some help, and just getting rid of it was Manny Malhotra. He'll get it back from Rome. Now Malhotra to the Minnesota line. Drops it off. Quick shot all the way to the corner. Cleared ahead to center. Latendresse drops it back. Havlat turned back. Marty Havlat looking, wants to center. Saucers one to the point, but it's too hard. And Cam Barker has to back up to center ice where he fires it right back in.
This period has not had a lot of whistles, Dan, and you know, that first period was a little faster. This one, I think the Wild are content to just lead this one. They're not sitting back.
Here's Zhelitsky looking to center. He'll carry behind. Drop pass, shot by Brunette. He scores!
Well, you don't want to leave Andrew Brunette around the top of the crease. Roberto Luongo seems to be fighting the puck a little bit tonight, but the Wild do come down there in numbers. Both Koivu and Brunette. Here's the Sylvania shot of the game, and look at that backhand pass by Marek Zhelitsky. And then the quick snapshot by Brunette again, not outside that 3-foot perimeter. I don't think the goal would count if Brunette scored it from outside that perimeter.
A rare occasion, Mike. Mikko Koivu was a spectator. He got caught between the two of them, and he just stayed out of the way. Now they'll give the assist to Zhelitsky and Miettinen as Brunette gets his second goal of the season. He had 2 assists on Saturday against Edmonton. Has a goal here tonight. And the Wild have opened up a 5-1 lead. Here's Henrik Sedin to the goal. Glove juggled a bit, but hung on to by Backstrom. Andrew Brunette has the latest goal for the Minnesota Wild as they continue.
There, and obviously there's been some good plays, but like a goalie like this, you got to get traffic in front and get pucks there, and we've done a good job of that tonight, and we're on the lucky end tonight.
All right, guys, take it away.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. I don't know if it's a lucky end. It's been looked fairly skillful for the most part, but luck is always involved. Wild struggling to clear their own zone here. Brodziak got tangled up in his own feet. Now Falk has it up the middle. Staubitz off his skates. Kovacic trying to come up with it. Staubitz won that physical battle. Takes another hit from Malhotra. And you know Staubitz, he is ready to go at any time. Look at that linesman doing his job, Kerry.
Well, Manny Malhotra came in there a little late. So Brad Staubitz was a little upset with the back door he got.
Well, it was Edler, but Kerry, I mean, what do you do in a situation? You got to take notes, right? I mean, how are you taking notes right now when you're watching this?
Well, the old three most feared words were "let him go."
Yeah, yeah.
But in this situation around the bench, you want to get it tied up, and obviously the linesmen are doing that. We got a wrestling match going on here.
Yeah. Over by the bench.
Yeah.
Someone came in there with a pretty good shot on Staubitz. I couldn't see who it was.
Oh, he's in the fans. Oh, he's got the fans now. Wow, that's going to be probably suspendable right there. Oh, when you start mixing it up with the fans, that's when it's going to get ugly. And was that Rippon that went in there?
Yeah, it was Rippon.
Yeah, that's not something that. It's one thing to make gestures and everything, and you even get suspended for that these days, or fined. But I don't know what happened. Did the fan throw something, or did he just say something?
I think he was talking at him. I don't think the fan reached out or did anything, but he may have said something that obviously something that Rippon didn't like.
Well, you know, and Kerry, this is where it probably gets very tough for a referee. You got a 5-1 game between two teams that historically don't like each other anyway. That's got to be pretty tough.
Well, you know, the Rippon's situation with Don Henderson over at the bench. Donnie did a good job getting him away from the altercation and tried to get him off the ice.
Boy, I got to tell you guys, watch what Rippon did. That fan should not have been kicked out of his seat.
No,
he did nothing.
All he's doing is clapping. You're allowed to clap. You're allowed to cheer. You're allowed to boo. And all he did was clap his hands. Rippon obviously very frustrated.
They're getting their props.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be ejected, but
I think they should move him up to a suite.
Well, this said, well, you know what? It's going to be very wonderful when you run the world.
My word. This now you come to a point where I know it was probably, as a referee, frustrating, because of what you want to do now is you want to get play back to action as quick as you can, but you've got to get it right.
Well, there's no question about that. Obviously, you have a frustrated hockey team wearing white jerseys. I would think that the Wild are content to play. They're going to play hard. Staubitz is not a guy to back away from anything, but he had a Rippon hit him in the back as coming to the aid of his player.
Well, double minor and then a 10-minute misconduct for Rippon. So he's going to be gone for some time.
And maybe more to come.
Well, that's
coming days.
That's supplementary discipline, supplemental discipline that's going to likely come down on him down the road here, because I mean, you just can't mix it up with the fans like that, especially if the fan didn't throw anything at you or do anything to you except clap your hands. I mean that isn't that a God-given right that the fans have, is to clap?
I think it says it right on their ticket.
Yeah, clapping is fully allowed. Oh man. Well, fireworks in this game, and it never disappoints.
Wild with a power play. Cullen shoots. He scores just like that. Whoa.
Well, Cullen, he's been the power play producer, and I don't know if Luongo's going to stay in the game much longer. I mean, I know they have a game tomorrow night, in Chicago. That may be why they're resting Corey Schneider, but look at this play. What a shot there by Cullen, just inside the post, and Luongo really didn't have a lot of stretch left to get to that pipe. But this is an offensive explosion for the Minnesota Wild that not only did they need, but maybe that some people didn't necessarily expect.
3 for 3, Mike, on the power play tonight.
Well, they're number 1 in the National Hockey League in that department, and they certainly held serve here so far.
Mikko Koivu and Mark Zhilitsky get the assists on the goal.
So
Cullen.
Zhilitsky has a goal and 2 assists tonight. And I wish he wouldn't have changed his name.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, really.
There's Nystrom looking, waiting, and banks it ahead off the right wing wall. 5.5 minutes remaining here in the second period, and the Wild, thanks to the power play, have really opened things up here. Torres back to the point. Rafi Torres gets it back. They're changing at the blue line. Jumping over and pushing it in deep is Mason Raymond. Now Henrik Sedin centers in front off a skate. It was intended for Mason Raymond, who was alone in the slot. Didn't get it. Now Raymond moving into the high slot. May have been hooked up a little bit. Gets off the wrister. Glove hung on to by Backstrom. Kerry, we want to thank you for stopping by. We look forward. I've got a copy of your book. I'm going to read it on the next road trip.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, coming up in our second intermission, we're going to look a little bit at that guy, Michael Granlund, the first-round pick by the Wild in the most recent draft. Everybody got a look at Mr. Granlund when they were in Finland, and well, nobody was disappointed. I'll tell you that right now. The youngster is the real deal. So stay tuned in our second intermission. More on that.
But you saw that baby face, and that tells you that
why he's still there.
he's still young. But I tell you, he's got the talent and he's got the grit. He's not a big player, but he has a lot of grittiness to him, and he's going to look good in a Wild sweater. Is the penalty coming up here on the play?
This game's got a little grit to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's got very heavy grit sandpaper to it. I mean, from wrestling linesmen to hitting fans to hitting each other, and lots of goals right off the draw there, and it looks like Sedin tripped over Cullen's stick. Cullen goes off though for the hook. He did get his stick in on the waist, and that's why he gets the penalty. Not so much whether Sedin fell or not.
The question I have for you is, they escorted the people in those seats out of their seats, probably just for their own safety. Now there's somebody else in there. How does that work?
Well, maybe they switched them with somebody.
I'm guessing that's what they did. Here's Daniel Sedin firing a wrist shot from the lower left side, and it's hung on to by Backstrom.
Well, we're just talking to Kerry Fraser, and he obviously sees different things, but Kerry just said that Rippon was wrestling with the linesman and maybe even gave him a shot with his fist a little bit as he was wrestling with him, and then he gave the fan a shot as he headed off the ice. So, there's more to come for Mr. Rippon, and not a lot of it's going to be good.
No, I don't think so. Considering the score, we've spent quite a bit of time in the Minnesota Wild zone in this period, but the Wild have taken advantage of every chance they've had, including the recent power play. Zanin took a stick up high, but that's just pain. That don't hurt. Not for Greg Zanin. Edler rotates it right. Ehrhoff sends it in deep. He will chase. Here comes Zhilitsky across. Pokes it to the corner. Finally just bounced all the way down the ice with a minute to go in Cullen's penalty time. There's Zanin going to the bench. He took a stick, I believe, a stick up high, and Don Fuller, the Wild trainer, will see to him. But as we know about Greg Zanin, he won't miss a shift. Comes Bieksa, the 29-year-old alternate captain. Long pass ahead to Mason Raymond, working on Burns. Turns back. Clutterbuck couldn't come up with it. Long shot from there, poked aside by Backstrom into the high slot. Mason Raymond lost his stick. Torres trying to get it. Here's Bieksa back at the point. Now to Rafi Torres into the slot, and Unable to get the shot off was Mason Raymond. He has had a guy all over him in that high slot.
10 seconds, Beaker.
Final 10 seconds in the power play time for the Canucks. This is their 4th power play of the game. They're 0 for 3. They have a couple of shots in this power play. That's the best they've had. And Cullen is out of the box. And the Wild are back at full strength.
Luongo still in the net, and
are you surprised by that?
I am surprised. I mean, I think it's mostly to save Corey Schneider a little bit. They can't be any other reason, because you know, Luongo is getting lit up and he's struggling a little bit. There's a lot of reasons, but maybe they did ask him. Well, we don't know that. Down on the bench, maybe Vigneault did ask him, and maybe he just said, no, I'll stay in.
Barker going back with Jannik Hansen. In comes Glass to help out. He gets it back to the point. Rome sends it in deep for Vancouver. Malhotra with a shot and a screen in front of Backstrom, but it went wide. Edler into the slot, bouncing around. Brodziak leads it ahead. Unable to clear the zone was Burnett. Now ahead, here's Brodziak. Brodziak moving in with a shot. He tried to go 5-hole, and Luongo took it away. Well, Brodziak had a great year against the Canucks last year. 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points in the 6 games, and he almost got himself one there. Icing here is stopping the action. Well, log on to foxsportsnorth.com and find out how Randy Moss inspired his teammates at halftime of Sunday's win over Dallas. Plus, are the Vikings ready for the Packers this Sunday night? And follow along with Adrian Peterson and his teammates as they brighten the day for kids at a local hospital. It's all on foxsportsnorth.com. Edler backhands it up high in the air. A little bouncer coming down in the Minnesota zone. Minute 24 to go in the second. Henrik Sedin sends it down low. Wild are 1-2 at home. Canucks came in 2-0-1 on the road. Icing again the call after a pretty fast pace. Things slowing down here a bit. Here's your Arby's game reset. 12 different Wild players have a point in the game. 5 Wild players with multi-point games at this point. The Wild power play, Mike, 3 for 3.
Well, it's been the magic, and the Wild have scored 5-on-5, which certainly will help their confidence. But when you take a look at the early part of this season, all you're going to see are power play goals, and there's nothing wrong with winning with the power play. Definitely have to get 5-on-5 going, but that power play has really been something that has helped them out.
What we just saw right there, Sandin blocked a shot with his left arm or hand. There have been a lot of blocked shots for the guys in red sweaters tonight. Sandin steps up, makes a hit. Loose puck, fired on goal, saved by Backstrom. It drops right in front of him, and he makes a tough stop look relatively easy.
Well, yeah, so we shouldn't forget the fact that Backstrom has still made 17 saves or more in this game. He's squaring himself up nicely to the play. There it is in traffic, and a quick shot trying to go over the shoulder. Backstrom's just played his angles really well, and other than that backdoor play, the first goal of the game in the first period, he's had a very solid outing.
Nystrom and Staubitz down low. Here's Brad Staubitz. He's had a very active game. Staubitz to Nystrom. Nystrom looking out to the point. Burns, it came out offside. It just wobbled up a little bit off the stick, and Burns couldn't quite keep it in.
Well, a good answer to the first period for the Minnesota Wild. And, you know, sometimes the team has a good period. They kind of rest on their laurels a little bit. But the Wild, they didn't do that. They came out and had a very good second period. So we'll see, you know, that's 40 good minutes of hockey. Can they do 60 good minutes? That's been the magic when they can put 60 minutes together. The compete level that Todd Richards likes to talk about so much.
Wild have 3 goals in this period on just 7 shots on goal. So it hasn't been an overwhelmingly dominant period as far as possession or ice time of possession or offensive zone possession, but they have made the most of all their chances.
You know, Todd Richards, and a lot was talked about this. He skated these guys into the ice 2 days ago, and with the way they're playing right now, they're making for a case to do it more often.
No, I think it's the opposite.
Oh, is it? Is that how it works?
They're hoping that they won't have to do that again by playing well tonight.
Okay, so maybe the threat?
Yes. Yes. Well, another solid 20 minutes for the home team. Roberto Luongo skates off. Not sure what hit him. Second period, the Wild scored 3 more. Robbie's up next with John Madden. More on Michael Granlund. And our stats and highlights all on the way next in our second intermission. Wild in charge here. All right, thank you, Robbie. Thanks, Coach Hendrickson. And a little change. Luongo's getting a break.
He is getting a break, a much-needed one. And Corey Schneider played his first game of the year, last game against Carolina at home in Vancouver. He got the 5-1 win. So now Roberto Luongo comes out after 2 periods. They play tomorrow night in Chicago. Here's the big question. Does Luongo get the start tomorrow night? Or do they put Schneider in there and let him just see what he can do?
Yeah, it's a tough call for the Canucks. What the Wild want to do is finish off with a 60-minute performance. They've gone through 40. Now they need to really bear down for the final 20. And good point made by Darby. These two teams play again this week.
Yeah.
You know what this is going to be like in Vancouver come Friday night?
You know what, and that's, you know, people keep asking me, you know, what is it the rivalry, where is it drawn from? A lot of it's drawn from the fans. I mean, players do change, coaches change, but the fans don't change. The fans are the ones that remind the players that this is a rivalry.
That place is going to be hopping on Friday night when the Wild stroll in. That wrister goes wide by Torres. Rafi Torres came into the game leading the Canucks in penalty minutes with 21. 9th year in the league, his first here in Vancouver with the Canucks. Both teams making changes on the fly. It's been a very physical game. After 2 periods, the Wild had the edge by 1, 22-21 in hits in this game. Schultz coming back to break that up. Now Burns back behind. Wild blocked 8 shots in that second period, so they got in front of a lot of pucks.
Well, when you play the most games against your division, you want to be good against your own division. And look at last season, our Toyota key stat. Both Vancouver and Minnesota, identical records against the division. And if the Wild hang on here, which we presume that they will go 2-0 against the Northwest Division this year. And they played their next 2 on the road against the same 2 teams, Edmonton, Vancouver.
This puck knocked up in the air.
Well,
and what will be the call?
They want to know, Vancouver wants a delay of game call on Mikko Koivu, who hit the puck. But if it caught any of the glass and rolled up, then it's no penalty. If it went cleanly up into the netting, then Koivu gets a 2-minute delay of game. So we'll see what the judgment on this call is. There's more than just one player swinging away at it. And Koivu is heading to the bench, not the penalty bench. Right here, Koivu. There it is, goes up in the air. And I think Koivu did get that fairly cleanly. Here it is. Up in the air. And Samuelson was in on it too, but
very tough to tell.
Yeah.
Loose puck in front. Cullen will clear. Pushes it ahead on the right side. Quickly, Havlat gives it up to Guillaume Latendresse. He slides it along the left wing wall. Now picks it up behind. Latendresse looking, turning back. He's got Edler on him. Edler has it in his skates. Now Havlat. Turn it over to Edler down low in the corner. And here come the Canucks back across the Minnesota line. Hansen with a shot and a nice save. Kicked out of there by Backstrom. And play whistled down in the Minnesota zone.
Hooking is going to be the call here. And so Matt Cullen, who has just been a wonderful breath of fresh air for the Minnesota Wild in terms of someone else that could generate offense, be a good two-way player, help with the power play, be a good team guy, all those things, all of the above. Oh, he got a penalty too.
He's got a couple of those tonight, so yeah, he does it all. fifth power play of this game for the Canucks.
Can't say you do it all if you don't get penalties too.
That shot blocked right in front again, and guess who? Greg Zan, and he heads to the bench.
Here's our second look, and it's the trailers coming in right there at the end. Cullen kind of did some water skiing on the way in.
Backstrom plays it behind. Wild penalty killers have been as accurate and as spot on as the power play has been. Power play 3 for 3. Penalty killers have been 4 for 4. Wrap around, no. Push back to the point. Here's Kevin Bieksa. Bieksa now to Daniel Sedin. Daniel Sedin down low in the corner. Henrik Sedin centers. Clutterbuck finds it and clears.
Great play there by both Clutterbuck crashing to the top of the net, as well as Brent Burns, who was in the crease. They blocked that cross crease pass, that back door, the soft side that they have to worry about.
The Sedin twins go to the Vancouver bench. Remember, Daniel Sedin scored 58 seconds into this game. And that was the last time they got one by Backstrom. Hansen rotates it left. Ehrhoff back to Rome, just stays in. Christian Ehrhoff. Aaron Rome with a shot. Hit the stick. Rebound Kessler. Can't put it away. Sends it off the boards back to Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff broke his stick on the shot, and it got by Kessler. Koivu couldn't clear. Falk clears. Got it all the way down the ice.
Well, the penalty kill remains very steady here. In 5 seconds, it'll be 5 kills for the Wild.
One shot on goal for the Canucks. Puck is cleared. Out comes Matt Cullen. And yes, the power play and the penalty killers perfect here tonight. Fanning on it out at center was Torres. Here comes Cullen. Flips it around a broken stick on the ice. Got it down low deep. Latendresse has it. He's pinned up along the boards. Malhotra has it. Leaves it for Torres. Right back for Manny Malhotra from center ice. Tips it in across the line. Burns got knocked down, cleared the puck, dumped through the high slot untouched. And out the other side. Latendresse to center. He'll dump and chase. Tied up on the back wall. Comes loose, right back to the point. Here's Schultz. Schultz will rotate it right. Quick shot by Burns. Tipped and goes wide of the goal.
That was Latendresse getting a piece of it as he stepped away from the defenders out into the slot.
Latendresse has a goal and an assist tonight.
A lot of multi-point games for players here on the Wild side.
5 players with more than a point in this game. Zidlicki has 3 to lead everybody, a goal and a couple of assists. Here comes Chuck Kovacic. Kovacic turns it into a 2-on-1, then fires a shot, goes off the defenseman. Andrew Alberts, the Eden Prairie native, got a piece of it and sent it out of play.
A good step up there by Alberts. As the Wild continue to just keep coming at him. See Dave Barr there, assistant coach of the Wild. He's largely responsible for the Wild power play and its obvious success so far this season, and he's talking to one of his key guys on that power play, Matt Cullen.
Well, as the guy who runs the power play, when they acquired Matt Cullen, I'm guessing he was very pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to cover and look at some of those power play moments in our post game.
Good back check by Chuck Kovacic to break that play up. Now a lead pass to Kyle Brodziak. Dumps it deep down in. Here comes Staubitz after it, and it'll be icing and a stop in the action. Well, get all your high school football action with Fox Sports Prep Zone. Go to foxsportsnorth.com and click on the Prep Zone link and choose to watch one of 4 high school football games live each week. Log on tomorrow at 7 and watch this week's featured games. Bemidji State versus Sartell, Minnetonka versus Hopkins, Osseo versus Andover. I'll be watching that one. And Northfield against Shakopee. There's a shot knocked down on the way to Backstrom. We've said that a lot tonight. Shots blocked. Zannon's had a handful, and the Wild have really so far done it at both ends. Barker takes the hit, gets it off to Madden. Madden scored the 4th Wild goal here tonight.
Block shots. Yeah, and obviously the Wild are 5 for 5 on the penalty kill this evening. And a lot of it's due to the fact that they're not afraid to get in front and block some shots. I remember in the second period, in one little shift, there's 3 different players that blocked shots on one of the penalty kills.
And the thing is, when things aren't going your way, that's what frustrates you. You can't get the puck through traffic, and the Wild went through that a lot last season, where they couldn't get the shot through the defenders, through traffic, and they've turned the table, and that's a good sign.
I know the one thing, and the big key for the Wild is they don't have a stationary power play. The way you get around guys blocking your shots is to become very mobile. And with Matt Cullen out there, the Wild power play has become very mobile.
Edler taken out in the corner. Madden leads it ahead on the left side. Here's Clutterbuck with a shot, and it just grazed off the goaltender Schneider. Now Madden down low. Madden pushed down from behind, centered it out front. Goes to the back wall. Clutterbuck and Edler. Madden is there as well. Henrik Sedin down low too. Madden pulls it out of the pile, looking for Nystrom, and it was deflected away. Nystrom run off the play. Here come the Canucks back the other way. Shots even at 19 each right now. Burns sends it around. Brunette lost it on the wall. Pokes free. Diving to push that puck away was Clutterbuck. Shot wide by Samuelsson. Turnover, centered. Ehrhoff shot, stopped by Backstrom.
Great challenge. Great challenge by Backstrom. He knew he had to come out and face that shot, regardless of anybody else coming in on the back door. Nice setup by Vancouver, but Backstrom shows some more challenge here in this game and continues to play strong.
Malhotra turning, looking, left it at the point, pushed deep into the zone. Koivu jamming away. Brunette knocked it down and knocked it out off of Malhotra. Now Miettinen on the forecheck. Up the boards, tipped into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom comes out and plays it. Gives it to Koivu. Koivu sends it around behind. Brunette chops it out to neutral ice. Knocked down by Bieksa. It's bumped there by Miettinen. Drops it back in his own zone. Pushed right up the middle, bouncing and rolling in on Backstrom. Wild went 2-1 here at home against the Canucks last season. Off to a good start. First of 6 meetings this season, 3 here at St. Paul. Here's Zanin. Zanin ahead, tipped by Cullen in deep. Schneider plays it around behind his own goal. Havlat couldn't knock it down. It got through the skates of Zanin out at center. Greg Zanin will chase it back the other way. Zanin had 15 points last season for the Wild, a career high for him. And almost 200 block shots last season. Brodziak to Latendresse. Staubitz on the go. Staubitz behind, hit by Edler. Comes Brodziak, poked it free. Is Staubitz with a chance. Shot was blocked in front. Shot went off Ryan Parent, defending in front of the Vancouver zone, and stick up high there on Parent. From Staubitz in with a hit on Mason Raymond. Back to the point. Burns dumps it back in. Missed the goal, and unable to get across quick enough was Nick Schultz to keep it alive. We have lost no intensity in this game whatsoever.
No, and that's actually a good thing. It's what keeps the players honest, because if it kind of sags down into a chip it out, chip it in type of game, that's when guys get other ideas. If you play hockey and you play it hard, there's not really a lot of time for that extracurricular stuff, so it's a good thing.
Wild looking for their 3rd straight home win. Here's a centering pass by Madden right on, and Schneider makes a great save in tight on Nystrom. Stepping away, we'll be right back. Deductible, so those bids go to help find a cure for cancer. It's a great cause, great jerseys, game-worn jerseys, autographed. The jersey auction will end tomorrow night. So jump online and check it out. The one-timer from the right side, kicked out of there by Schneider. Pushed ahead by Samuelson. Henrik Sedin flips one across, fired across the front of the crease. Falk lost his balance, went down. Centered into the high slot. They'll work to the left point, but Andrew Albert's unable to catch up with that one, and the 29-year-old defender hustles back to get it. Long pass through. Kobasu saw that hit coming from Rome and jumped out of the way. Dumped towards the front of the goal. Wild will gain control. Stovich to the point. Zandon's shot deflected maybe off Kobasu, up and out of play. And a stop with 8:40 to go.
Good to see Chuck Kobasu energized in this game, and he was a question mark this morning. Didn't skate in the morning skate, neither did Mikko Koivu, because both of them had caught a little bit of that illness that's roaming around the Wild locker room. Looks like everyone's pretty healthy in this game, though. They've battled hard. They haven't shied away from hits. A lot of good coverage, and naturally the Wild have found a way to score.
Kobasu is a Vancouver native, so he'll be going home Friday to play the Canucks. I don't think it's going to be a real warm and fuzzy homecoming. Zhidlitsky leaves it ahead. Brodziak trying to push it up along the boards right in front of the Wild bench. Comes free. Schaefer into the Minnesota zone. Next up for these Canucks, they are in the front half of back-to-back. They will play in Chicago tomorrow night. Sandin sends it in deep off of Miettinen. 16,806 here tonight. Brunette with a steal, drops it back. Koivu didn't get all of that one. Good crowd here tonight. Tickets available for all Wild home games.
Incidentally, Rippon is on the bench and eligible to play, although we haven't seen him yet. The question is, will Vigneault actually put him on the ice?
There's Brunette, gets free. Picked off by Rafi Torres, and then picked off in return and dumped in deep by Mikko Koivu. Ryan Parent back to get it. Right side, Manny Malhotra on the backhand. Circles the Minnesota zone, sends it back in deep. There's Yannick Hansen to the wall. Rafi Torres tried to center. Malhotra out of the corner. Manny Malhotra tried to go to the point. That was tipped and broken up. Now Edler has it. Fires through traffic, and it went there. It went through and wide of the Minnesota goal. Burns on the back wall, off his skate. Jump back to the point. A drive off the post. Close call for Backstrom and the Wild. Now Cullen to Latendresse. Latendresse to Havlat with a shot, and he went wide. Oh, they're clicking. One that I'm sure Marty Havlat would like to have back, as Andrew Alberts fires it in, gloved and hung on to by Backstrom.
Watching the puck, and Andrew Brunette swoops in for the power play goal. Zhidlitsky has 2 assists in the game and that goal, and is off to a good start here.
Nystrom tips it ahead. Madden chases. Madden centers, Clutterbuck, shot blocked. Still creating some chances with under 6 minutes to go in the third period.
Well, Roberto Luongo, who was taken out after the second period, is 0 for 3 in his last 3 starts here at XL.
Look at Nystrom weaving his way through, and Schneider makes the save, and then it's covered up. Nystrom just showing his hands a little bit.
0 for 3, and also has not finished any of the last 3 games. So the next time the Vancouver Canucks come to the XL Energy Center, Roberto Luongo, if they're going off of previous numbers, may not get the start.
Wild head on the road tomorrow. A game in Edmonton Thursday night. In Vancouver Friday night. Tipped, and it's still wide of the Minnesota goal. Somebody got a piece of that one. Kovacic at center, hacks his way around Edler and got it down deep. Here comes Staubitz after it. Pushed away by the goaltender. That's Corey Schneider in relief. This puck goes out of play in the neutral zone. Stopping the action. Wild leading by 5.
And all he was doing, and we've looked at the video, all he's doing is clapping his hands. And Rippon will have the book thrown at him for that, I'm pretty sure.
So those two fans were relocated.
Yeah, on the glass seats. So, hey, if you take your chances, you get in a fight with a player, you get to get moved up. I mean, hey, you know, you got to pay the price, but premium seating.
Koivu.
Nothing's free.
Miettinen in. Normally, when a player has that kind of an adverse reaction, somehow we can blame Cal Clutterbuck. But this time it was all Brad Staubitz.
See, Cal Clutterbuck's been doing it wrong all the time. All he needs to do is clap his hands.
There's Cal Clutterbuck, hits leader in the National Hockey League the last 2 seasons, and often hitting again this season. .319 hits last season. Came into tonight's game with 19, so yeah, he's doing what he does best. Havlat giving Edler problems. Edler got free. His shot misses the mark, goes behind the Minnesota goal. On the wing, Schaefer steps in front, and from the backside, it's shot right behind Backstrom through the crease. Glass got that one through some traffic and gloved and hung on to by Nicholas Backstrom, who has put together a very solid performance tonight. Time now for the Quest high-speed play of the game, powered by Quest fiber optic fast internet.
Well, Latendresse and Havlat put those guys back together again, and some wonderful things happen, and they did tonight. And they were able to feed Cal Clutterbuck, who drove to the top of the crease and put one home. A lot of people enjoying some offensive output in this game for the Wild.
Staubitz in on the forecheck. Wild with 23 shots, 21 for the Vancouver Canucks. High in the air in the Minnesota zone. Brodziak. Zhidlitsky. Now Greg Zanin. Great defenseman for the University of Nebraska Omaha at one point in his career. He dumps it ahead and heads to the Minnesota bench. Kovacic couldn't come up with it. Dished off by Malhotra, right side. Hansen with a shot and gloved and stopped by Backstrom.
Everyone's performed well in this game in a red sweater for sure, and the goaltender Nicholas Backstrom's been one of them. You can tell that he's feeding off the confidence of his team, and he's a big part of that penalty kill, which has been exceptional here this evening.
Ryan Kessler sends it down low. Mason Raymond puts on the brakes. Bumped by Madden. Loose puck, Justin Falk. Falk up the boards. Will be pushed to the line, but not out. Mason Raymond has it. Falk working on him. Raymond spins away. Banks it off the wall. Rome with a shot, and that was blocked out in the slot again. Another blocked shot, this time by Madden. Back to the point. Kessler's shot. It was on goal. Stick saved by Backstrom. Madden chasing down at center. Now Bieksa. Bieksa across the Minnesota line. Back for Raymond. Stick saved by Backstrom. Bieksa down low. Held up by Justin Falk. Here's Burns with it. A couple of 6'5" defenders paired up now. Burns and Falk. A lot of size with 2:10 remaining. Here's Mason Raymond. Dumps it towards the goal, and it got through traffic. Backstrom in the right position to make the save. Koivu fighting off a check. Got it to Burns. Burns banks it ahead to the line. It stays in. Held in across the line. Schaefer sends it behind the Minnesota goal, and play whistle down with 1:50 remaining here in the third period.
More penalties coming up here as the Wild will send Nick Schultz off.
Minnesota 55, 2 minutes for high sticking.
So the Wild will finish the game on the penalty kill. It is 5 for 5.
5 for 5 on the kill.
They would like to try and make it 6 for 6.
So Schultz in the box. Power play for the Canucks for the remainder of the game if they don't score. This centering pass held in by Bieksa to the corner. Right back for Bieksa, left side. Sedin back out on top. Dump down low, push to the side of the goal. Backstrom was there, left side, shot, score. Off maybe the shoulder of Backstrom as he came across. Sedin buried it. He almost got over in time.
Well, the Wild won't remain perfect on the penalty kill, but they will go 1 for 6. 5 for 6, excuse me. The power play for Vancouver goes 1 for 6. And they're so good at just moving the puck around, quick little feed. And how many goals has Sedin, either one of them, scored from that angle, which is a very low angle, but you know, they could put that in that small space, and as a goaltender's trying to move across, he often doesn't square up in time, and Backstrom was not able to square up on that play.
So Daniel Sedin now has 6 goals on the season, has both goals in this game tonight. And the Sedin twins are as effective as ever.
As advertised.
Henrik Sedin and Michael Samuelsson get the assists on the goal. A minute remaining here in the third period. Clutterbuck will get one last bump in along the boards in front of the Vancouver bench. Now takes the puck at center. Wheeling at center, flips it ahead into the zone. Schultz backs away from the point. Hansen leads the puck out at center. Malhotra across the Minnesota line. Drop pass, quick shot goes wide of the goal. Edler rotates it left. Shot from there by Parent is on goal, and it's stopped by Backstrom and hung on to by Nicholas Backstrom.
Well, Nicholas Backstrom shouldn't be forgotten. He made a lot of saves in this game, and he kept the Wild in at times when the Canucks were forcing. The Canucks scored the first goal. Don't forget that. They scored the first goal of the game in less than a minute, and Nicholas Backstrom really did a lot to kind of stem that tide. The Wild got on their horses and started scoring some goals, and even though a power play goal by Vancouver's made it 6-2, he's had a solid game here.
Yeah, it really hasn't tarnished his performance or the team's performance as far as putting 60 minutes together. There's a shot that's into the goal, gloved, covered up, pushed aside, clock stops, clock starts running again. A lot of Wild fans felt comfortable with the 5-goal lead and have headed home to beat the traffic. I think they're probably going to throw a few seconds back on the clock here. Well, just what the doctor ordered for this team. Fighting some illnesses, but put together a good performance. Puck is dropped. Falk gets tangled up with glass. The horn blows, and the Wild, Anthony, they got what they wanted, what they needed. They got a 6-2 win here tonight.
Highest scoring output of the season for Minnesota. We'll show you how they did it. We'll hit the ice for our instructional, the art of the one-timer with Kevin Gorg and former Gopher Erica McKenzie. We will hear from head coach Todd Richards